up until now. So, but I wanted to check in as much as possible today.
Yes.
I see the recording sign now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I meant to do it and forgot to. So I have this other iPad on because I thought maybe I would use it to write, but I think if I.
It's slightly comforting to have two of you, though.
Yeah, until I turn on the sound, and then it gets crazy. Okay, so it's recorded. Well, should we just do a little warm up?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna what I'd like you guys to get out is 2 documents, the rhythms and tuplets, and also the what is it, syllables, basic syllables. So
6 syllables.
So like, for example, here I will show you.
Tuplets.
Watch. Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Syllables, basic syllables.
I have to run to the toilet for 1 moment.
just you guys can come
Thanks
and
for
go.
letting us know.
Yeah, you could come and go as you please. It's all fine here. We just do it really relaxed. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. So if I go to the IRC from the summer, which you guys were all a part of, or you have gotten this link, and we go here to some basic syllables from Rididungum. So, and then we get this page.
Yes, we can.
And then we go back to this, and then we'll go down to, where is it? Rhythms within tuplets, this one. Right, so this is the page that I was using the last class.
Yes.
So what I thought we would do is kind of put these 2 together and do a little practice. And I haven't prepared this, so we'll just see what we do. Let me just get up this document. Yeah. Okay. So what I thought, I thought we would just kind of explore these first 4.
Yep.
We have Kitataka, Tarikita, Takadina, and Takadimi.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Where's this? Okay, so for example, are you guys seeing me too, or are you just seeing my shared screen?
No, I see you.
Oh, you see me too. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, great. So if we take Aditala, 8 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So why don't we go through? So indeed, why don't you now put yourselves on mute so that we don't have latency problems, and then why don't we just do 1 tala of each syllable? I'm just making this up. If you have a different exercise you want to do, just don't hold back. Let us know, and we can work on that too. Okay, so 3, 4. kita taka 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 tari kita tari kita tari kita tari tari kita tari kita tari kita tari kita taka dina taka dina taka dina taka di taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka di taka dimi taka again kita taka 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 kita tari 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 kita taka dina taka di taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka di taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi kita taka kita taka kita taka kita ta kita taka kita taka kita taka kita taka tari kita tari kita tari kita tari tari kita tari kita tari kita tari kita taka dina taka dina taka dina taka di taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka di taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi one more time kita taka kita taka kita taka kita ta kita taka kita taka kita taka kita taka tari kita tari kita tari kita tari kita tari kita tari kita tari tari kita taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka dina taka di taka dina taka dina taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka di taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi taka dimi bish. How's that?
Good.
Okay, it's funny because you know, I never did these. I mean, I practiced them a little bit. Some phrases from a few years ago. This you know, but now you know, and BC's been kind of like going off on the syllables the last 2 years. She's like, come on, we got to learn these syllables and we got to learn it right. And so he's been teaching this at the conservatory when I bring them there. And we did this class. And so it's time to just start practicing these and at least getting them a little bit and then trying to work them in. And what I've noticed is that I start to kind of use it in like my music and my pieces and my exercises. And but it's also a little strange because I feel like those are Indian syllables. I'm not Indian, so when I do like a real Indian phrase, it feels like I've put on an Indian shirt, some traditional Indian shirt, which is, you know, I'm a white guy wearing an Indian shirt, so that's always a thing, and I tend to not want to do that so much. So I'm always looking at, okay, how can I take that and make it my own in some way? And then I do my piece and I'm just going digga 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 digga, you know, and I think then like someone like BC Manjana, he's like, come on, why are you doing it so stupidly, digga 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 digga, you know? So these are the things, huh? These are these great questions that we can kind of think about. And like Nayeli we had a little email exchange about this, right? So I was thinking maybe there's some great Spanish syllables that might be really, I mean, I always think of Spanish as always being, you know, pretty rhythmic anyway. So there's probably some really nice ones.
What I use with my little students, I try to choose words that phonetically like are easier to say faster. Because for example here, kitataka, you have to ta together, right? So kitataka, like
Oh yeah,
you have to do
kitata. Yeah.
And it's hard to do it fast.
So give us an example.
It gets wrong. Like
no, we heard you. We could hear the sound the whole time. What was? Give us an example of something you teach your kids.
For example, for I use the word ligerito.
Oh, wow.
Ligerito.
Ligerito.
Ligerito. Ligerito, right?
Ligerito. Oh, wow, that's hard.
So,
For Philip glasses.
Tomatina. Oh, I can kind of do that one. Tomatina. Eduardo?
I try to choose like, even if they don't.
Oh no, please finish, Nayeli. Oh, she
She's
can.
frozen.
Yeah.
Um,
Eduardo, what do you do in Spanish or whichever?
I use the Indian syllables.
Hmm.
The point with kitataka is that the two ta are different in your tongue. That's the point. If you do the ta in the teeth and ta over.
On the skin.
Ta, 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 ta.
Ta, ta, ta,
Ki,
ta,
ki, ta, ta. Ki, ta, ta.
Ki, ta, ta.
In this way, you can do any speed.
Yeah, I agree.
Ligerito means faster.
Ah.
The word ligerito means faster.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
In Spanish. Also lighter, but in the two meanings. I prefer don't use words that have a meaning in Spanish. Because it's difficult to combine two different words and a meaning. I prefer no meaning.
Yeah. Well, I think there is, I mean, the thing that we always, the reason I always teach the Indian syllables is because they flow off the tongue much better than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, like English words for numbers. So there is some sort of universality of the way the tongue moves and what works better than other things. Per Anders.
Yeah, I agree with Eduardo. I took some time really trying to get the tongue working in the, so to say, correct conical way, and all of a sudden I found that some of these syllables were very fast, very easy to get up in tempo, and also I discovered the letter K is further back in almost in the throat. Which I'm not warmed up now, but not trying to have it like where I usually have it, somewhere in the middle of the mouth. Having it further back was also much easier to get it up in tempo. So I agree with Eduardo.
Kitataka. Okay, why don't, okay, for example, how about this? We do sevens, septuplets, basically slow, or groups of 2, 2, 3, or 4, 3, and we go kita taka dinka, kita taka dinka, kita taka dinka, kita taka dinka, kita taka, and then we can practice this kita ta, kita taka dinka. Okay, should we try that? 3 and 4. Kita taka dinka, 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 dim. Okay, I was really focusing on the ta and the ta, and really trying to place my tongue, and I think I got it like 40% of the times. Yeah, I think, of course, it's also related to language, and some languages are more used to those movements than others. I mean, in the flute world, we always talk about the French having the best articulation because it's all very The French language is really up in the front of the mouth, and then they can. That's where things move really fast and small, and this tugga American language English, where you're in the back of the mouth. It's all, you have to move so much more to make the articulations.
But the French avoid every consonant possible, so it's just one slew of because I'm living the dream right now. And have you heard the various Indian languages? I mean, they have a velocity that boggles the mind, and compared to that, English is very wide and kind of drawly, you know. So I mean, they grow up just speaking really fast, or it sounds fast to me. It sounds like they're always excited or yelling.
Yeah. What to do? Okay, here's another one. And this we can do. Oh yeah, please.
Sorry, it didn't work before the unmuting. I had a question as regards the DH. Is that a kind of a D, like a similar kind of teeth on the skin above the teeth? Sorry, tongue on the skin above the teeth thing? Like a
D, yeah. D.
Or anyone else?
D.
Got any insight on that?
It's a good question. I'm not quite sure what the difference between a DHI and a THI is.
I thought it was the beginning sometimes of a grouping, or a longer note with dots. Then the H is coming into it, or am I wrong?
No, we've got some dimi.
Oh, also with the
Takadimi, takadimi. And then there's a tadimi.
Manju.
Yeah, we can ask him. But like, for example, number 4 is takadimi. And that's like, then I don't use the tip. I use it just behind the tip on the skin behind the teeth. D. Takadimi. And then the dimi, I'm using the tip on the skin behind the teeth. So takadimi, takad, instead of d. I don't know. Eduardo, do you have some insight?
As far as my Guruji Shomashekar teach me, with the age, ta, di, tum, in the same place over the tongue with the teeth. Ta, di, tum.
Same place?
As basic, with age. But as far as I know, they don't care about with age or not age when they are reading. It's not very strict about.
So maybe number 4 and number 8 is just a typo and not a big difference in.
I know takadina with age.
Oh yeah.
Takadina. For 6. Always with Somashekar always write with age.
Okay.
Without age.
Yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, then once we start really peeling back the layers, the systems start to fall apart, and then you find that in different parts of the country they have different practices, and even different people are inconsequent, and of course when you go to India, they're spelling words differently all the time, at least in English. So and then you get to that point where, okay, well, what's it supposed to be? And then you just have to kind of try to decide what works for you. Okay, here's an exercise. Ding, ta, ding, kita taka ding, ta, ding, kita taka ding, ta, ding, kita taka ding. So let's just do this with these first 4. So it's 7s, dim ta dim. So that's actually 3 plus 2, dim ta dim, and then we do the 4 30 seconds. Kita taka. 3, dim 3 and 4. Ding da ding, kita da 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 ding ka ding, tari kita ding da ding, tari kita ding da ding, tari kita ding da ding, tari kita ding. Oh, sorry. We'll do 8 times each one, and then we'll repeat them. 3, 4, 3 and 4. Ding da ding, kita da 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 ding da ding, tari kita 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 ding da ding, takadina 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 ding da ding, takadimi 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 da. Who else would like to lead this exercise? Eduardo? You demonstrate and we follow you.
Sorry?
Would you like to do this exercise and we follow you?
Takadik dim, da dim, takadik dim, da dim, takadimi dim, da dim, takadina dim, da dim, tarikita dim, da dim, kita takadim, da dim, takadina dim, da dim, tarikita dim, da dim, takachanu dim, da dim, takachanu dim, da dim, gina kita dim, da dim, gina kita dim, da dim, tadimi takadim, da dim, tadimita dim, da dim, tadimita dim, da dim, tadimita dim, da dim, kita takadim, da dim, tarikita dim, da dim, takadina dim, da dim, takadina dim, da dim, takachanu dim, da dim, talangu dim, da dim, gina kita dim, da dim, tadimita dim, da dim. Something like this.
Okay, great, awesome. Who else would like to do it? Per Anders?
Okay, so maybe I should do the same line as you.
Sure.
The first one.
4 times each? Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I have
Or 8 times each?
So, is it the right documented? The first one is kita taka, and then it's tarakita, takadina, and takadimi, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4 first. So it's 8 of everyone.
Yeah.
3 and 4 and dim, that dim, kita takadim, 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 that dim, tarakitadim, 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 that dim, takatinadim, that dim, takatinadim, that dim, kadinadim, that dim, takatinadim, 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 that dim, takatimidim, 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 that dim, takatimita.
Awesome. How about George?
Which one? Move next door.
It's also, I think, it's what sausage.
Which one would you like me to do?
Let's see. How about we do dinka kita taka dinka kita taka dinka. So dinka, dimta, and then 2 times 4. We can do it a little bit slower. Dinka kita taka dinka kita taka dinka.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Okay, so we're doing 7, 3, 2, 2, right? Taka 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 taka. And inside each of the 2s, we're gonna, which are 8th notes, we're gonna put for 30 seconds. Dinka taka 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 dinka kita taka dinka kita taka dinka kita taka. Oh, maybe that's hard to do it twice in a row. Eduardo?
Perhaps kita takatari kita.
Kita takatari kita.
Kita takatari kita dim. Kita takatari kita dim. Kita takatari kita dim.
What a beautiful idea. Dinka kita takatari kita dinka kita taka. Let's do it. Dinka kita takatari kita dinka kita takatari kita dinka kita takatari kita. About this tempo. Are you up for that, George? You can also happily decline and know if you're not prepared or feeling in the mood. That's okay.
Can you just do it once more, and then I'll try and repeat what you do.
Well, what we could do for dinka kita, so we're taking 1 and 2, pattern 1 and 2. Takadina takadimi, and then and then let's do. So you do that. Let's say 8 times, and then we'll do 8 times 2 plus 3, then 8 times 3 plus 4, and then 8 times 4 plus 1. Just to exercise the first 4.
Okay, I'm not quite with you, I'm afraid.
All right, let me do it once.
Yeah.
And then let's see how that goes. See if I can do it. So we'll do it slow. 3 and 4. Dinka kita takatari kita din. Ka 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 kita takadin. Ka kita takata. Oh, sorry. Din ka tari kita takadina din. 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 Ka takadina takadimi din. Ka tikadina takadimi din. Ka takadina takadimi din. Ka takadina takadimi din. Ka takadina takadimi din. Ka takadina takadimi din. Ta takadimi takadimi din. Ka takadina takadimi din. Ka takadimi kita takadin. 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 Did everyone follow that? Okay. Is that helpful? Eduardo.
There are some of them that usually go together.
Yes.
Kita takatari kita.
Mm-hmm.
Takadimi takajanu.
Yes. Yeah.
Ikutari kita taka.
Kitutari. Which one is that?
Dikutari kita taka. Dikutari kita taka.
Okay. Dikutari is not there. Oh, yeah, yes, it is 19. No. Yeah. 19. Dikutari kita taka. Yeah, I also know that one.
Dikutari kita taka. Gina kita tari kita. Gina kita tari kita.
Gina kita tari kita. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Why don't we put those in the chat? Let's see. How do I do that? Where's my chat? Okay. So then we have kita takatari kita. That's 1 plus 2, right?
Yes.
And then
4 plus 5.
4 plus 5.
Takajanu.
Yeah. Takadimi takajanu. Yeah.
7 plus 2. Gina kita tari kita.
Gina kita tari kita. Yeah, I know that one. And then takadina talangu, maybe.
Takadina talangu.
3 plus 6.
Yes.
And then dikutari.
19. 1.
Dikutari kita taka. Dikutari
kita taka.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one. I like that one. Dikutari kita taka. Dikutari kita taka. Dikutari kita taka. Yeah. Okay, does everyone see those in the chat?
Dikutari kita takatam. Kita dikutari kita takatam. Kita dikutari kita takatam. Very, very.
Yeah.
And also the 8, kita taka tarikita, taka tarikita, tarikita, kita taka tarikita, taka tarikita, kita taka. Kita taka tarikita, taka tarikita, tarikita, kita taka tarikita, taka tarikita, tarikita. Always. Dikutarikita taka, tarikita taka, kita taka, dikutarikita taka.
Okay, so I'm going to put them in the chat. 4 plus 5, and then we'll practice those. We'll just do this a little bit more, and then we'll move on. But I think it's a great idea because I've heard these ones too, Eduardo, and it's good to learn them. You whip those off for BC, you'd be like, oh, great. Gina kita tari kita. And then that's 7 plus 2, 3 plus 6. Takadina. Talangu.
Takadina talangu.
And then dikutari.
Dikutari kita taka.
Kita takatari kita tin. Kita takatari kita tin. Kita takatari kita tin. Okay, so should we go through these? Same system. We'll do it in a pattern of 7 because it gives the tongue a chance to rest. We'll have a little water. By the way, this is the official method for drinking water in India is like this. Lips do not touch the bottle. Okay, let's do it. We'll do it not too fast. Takita din din takita din 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 ka kita takatari kita 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 din ka takadimi takajuno tam ta takadimi takajono tim ta takadimi takajono dim ta takadimi takajano dim ka takadimi takajano dim ka takadimi takajono dim ka takadimi takajono dim ka takadimi takajano dim ka gina kita tari kita 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 dim ka takadina talangu dim ka takadina talangu dim ka takadina talangu dim ka takadimi talangu dim ka takadina taringu dim ka takadina talungu dim ka takadina talungu dim ka takadina talangu dim ka dikutare kita takadim dikutare kita takadim ka 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 dikutare kita takadim. Okay, so for example, this could be your warm-up every day. You take 5 or 10 minutes and then do this, and if you do this for a couple weeks, you'll be doing it really fast. You know, and then, and you know, as you can see, I am not the expert in this, and I'm also making mistakes all over the place. And as much as I'm telling you guys to practice it every day, I'm also telling myself. So, you know, this is great. So we get a chance to learn these things together. Okay. And what I really like is then taking it from this rhythms and tuplets page. So any place you have an 8th note, you can throw this in. Tadiginaton tikutari tadiginaton kitatakatakdiginaton kitataka. You know, that's a 5 plus 2, 7. We can do that. For example. So, okay. Are there any more comments or questions about that? No. Okay. Oh, Eduardo, yes.
For me, it's very interesting that the same amount of syllables, but all of them sound very different. The feeling is very different. Very interesting. Micro rims.
That's right. And just when I was doing it right now, there were a couple of them. I was like, "Oh, this is great! Really flows off the tongue, nice, and feels good to say." And other ones, I was like, less. I'll have to practice that more. So, so that's a whole world of expression, and which we don't. Which it's kind of new to me. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on that. I'm more interested in the rhythms than how you speak them, but it is a thing. So we can start working on this. Okay. Shall we? I got one or two homeworks. Does anyone want to share anything that they've been working on with this stuff? And not necessarily sharing for me, but for everybody, or exercises. I mean, I got some. It was I have a kike here. Let me see. Oh yeah, Flavio, you made some really interesting exercises in septuplets. You want to show those to us?
Yes, but should I share the score or?
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is like you told us to write something using like septuplets.
Yeah.
So basically, I did a kind of a little etude, and the idea was that I actually took. First of all, I took like 5 bars of 7/16, where I put a pattern in 7, which was having so let's say first, second, third, fourth, and fifth bar. In the base, I decided a pattern in 7/16, which was dealing with numbers, so attacks, which was basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 notes in 7. No, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes in 7. The second bar is just 5 notes, different lengths. Of course, I'm just feeling the 7. Then I have 4 notes, 3 notes, and 2 notes.
I see. Yeah.
And then I decided this pattern, and then I was deciding which pitches I should take to play it. And then I took a pattern which has 5 pitches. So G, let's consider these chords like one pitch, this F and B flat. So G, F, C, D, G, C, F. That's my pattern, which contains like 5 different pitches. And then I'm repeating it all the time in this grid that I just gave me. So
yeah,
in 5 bars. So after 5 bars, this is exactly repeating itself.
Okay, so we have 2 different systems. We have a sequence of 5 notes plus a metric sequence where you have 6 notes per bar, 5 notes per bar, 4 notes per bar, 3 and 2. And so they don't match up. So you get a sort of phasing of the 2 different systems at the same time.
Yeah, and then the upper line basically is playing the rhythmic patterns but reversed. So basically I'm playing 2, 2, 5, break, then 3, 2, 2, then 2, 2, and this kind of 3, then 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. and then this one. So basically I'm going this way. It's the same pattern, but reversed. And in the upper voice, I have just 3 notes. So I have G, B flat, F, G, B flat, F, G, B flat, F. So I kind of have like an obligatory place, because I fixed this grid where I have to put the pitches and then repeating these patterns.
Yeah.
The thing that I like, and this is something that that for me was funny, is the idea that as soon as I thinking that this pattern actually is 5, whatever rhythm is given, I think this is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 short, long, short, short, long. But it's still, I just think it's a 5. So basically what I get, if I put an accent when I play on the beginning of each repetition of the patterns, actually I ended up with something like tan tita tata, tan tita tata, tan tita tata, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tan tita tata. The second would be tidanta tita, tidanta tita, titanta tita, titanta tita, and whatever. And
yeah.
This is the second one. The third one would be tita tan ta, tita tan ta ta, tita tan ta, tita tan ta ta, tita tan ta ta, tita tan ta ta.
Yeah.
The third would be tin tan ta. Sorry, the third would be like tin tan tak. A break in the middle. This it's okay. It's just an exception. There's a break in the middle. So like taka 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 ta taka taka taka, and I have my 5 notes.
Yeah, or you just do taka 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 dimi taka dimi taka.
Exactly, like 2 2 4 4 2.
Yeah,
exactly. And up, like the upper voice is doing the same, and then I'm kind of, I have to repeat these bars like 2 times, because with the 5 notes, after 5 bars, I'm starting at the beginning again, so I'm done. But with 3 notes, actually, when I'm finishing the 5 bars, I'm not finished. Like I'm in another place with my patterns. So I basically, I kind of repeated the rounds until I get the whole thing, sorry. And this is just like, I ended up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 bars. So after 15 bars, I'm starting again. And then what I did is variation to this.
This seems like a sort of phasing hell, Flavio, to be able to keep track of all this.
Actually, the thing started for me because I played once with an African musician, and I got a piece to play, which basically was based on a clava, which was tin ta ta tam tam ta tam. So on paper it was like pim pa pa pam pam pa pam, pim pa pa pam pam pa pam. So I thought, okay, we're playing in 11. For me, it was clearly an 11. And the guy then said like, okay, let's play the tune in 7. And I didn't understood why he was telling that this piece was in 7. And actually the thing was that he was thinking about the hits. So if I play ti ta 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 ta, I have 7 hits. So this was. And as soon as we started playing it, actually we were not playing ting ta ta tam tam ta tam. We were playing ti ta 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 ti ta 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 ti ta 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
Right. Yeah.
So the idea of the thing was this kind of shifting between like 11 and 7. We were kind of learning by ear to be somewhere in the middle.
I recognize that kind of morphing of the lengths of notes in African music. It doesn't maintain its proportions when you change speeds, and they kind of get expressive with the note lengths.
Yeah, so basically I at the beginning I was really confused. I was also playing with like some Peruvian percussionists, and they had a piece in 5, but they all agreed in the band that playing in counting 5 it's too difficult, so let's count 4. And they were counting 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So I just thought, okay, the 4 is to be 2 times long, like, you know, like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. And actually at the end I was out the whole time because this was not working like this. It was kind of like ta 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 ta. So it was really like something in between. But I love this thing. So basically I'm just trying to work with this kind of things my own way.
Well, it's really nice because it brings rhythm into the world of feeling, because there's no you can't really put it to math. Like it's not a
Actually,
quantized grid. It's more like, okay, how do you feel that note? Is it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, and we feel it together, and that in
actually,
the
there's
end
like,
becomes more humanly expressive.
now the thing is that you can write it. Actually, there's way to write it because I mean, if you think like a tree that is like tin ta tan, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, this is actually a 5. And as soon as you move somewhere else, you could write like in a super complex way. You know, you could say that you are playing actually melodically like a polyrhythm. Let's say that I play a 7 kind of tin tin ta tan ti tan tan tin tin ta tan ti tan tan tin tin ta tan. This could be like a 5 and 3. You know, like tam tin ta tam tika tam 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 ta tam tita ta. So you could write it. You know what I mean? If I play 5 and then I play 3 up 5, I have tin ta ta ti ta ta 1 ta ta 5. So if I do it melodically, both voices, it sounds like tam tin ta tam ti tam tam tin ta tam ti tam tam. So I say, okay, I have a 7. Tin tin ta dan di dan dan din din da dan di dan dan. So you could write it, but actually the thing is.
Ding ding ka ding ta king. Oh, you're doing a 5 against 3. Ding ding ka ding ta king ding 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 ka ding ta king ding. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Right.
But as soon as, for example, let's say that we play this rhythm.
Sorry, let me just explain that to the rest. So, right, if we take quintuplets, and we do groups of 3, right? Quintuplets, groups of 3. Then you have, if you take the beats, then you get 5 against 3. Ding, 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 right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. That's the, but if you put the 2 together, you get ding, ding, ka ding, ding, ding. That's what we call the resultant rhythm. So when you put the 2 rhythms together, you get that. And these resultant rhythms of these number combinations are really handy to know. Like, 5 against 4, ding, takum, tikum, ding, ka-ding, ding, takum, tikum, ding, or, all these different ones. There are 3 against 2, ding, taka-ding, ding, taka-ding, ding, those are really handy to practice those and learn those. And if you guys want to, we can, I have them all somewhere. We could whip them out and spend some time on that. But please go ahead, Flavio.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So Flavio, when you I got the bit that you decided to have 7, or was it a decreasing number of notes in each bar.
Yeah.
But then when you decided what rhythm to put to those notes, was that initially just a free artistic decision how to arrange them rhythmically in the bar?
You mean like how I arranged the 6, the 5, the 3 notes? Yes, this I just took from some pattern because I saw this like an homework. So I just took some patterns from the 7 septuplets. So I was just thinking, okay, 1, 6, 5, 3, and 2, and I take some patterns from the papers that we got from Ned. So this was just the idea how to this was already made actually.
So that was just that you just chose the ones that felt good to you at the time. But then when you started to arrange them as a 5-note cycle, then you started to notice these accents that made that caused you to feel a regular rhythm. I think that's what I understood from you saying.
Actually,
you then ended up with the takati.
Has no regular rhythm. This 5 is just you have 5. My pattern has 5 different pitches, but in rhythm it's not regular. It's not at all regular because you have long, short, 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 and then short, short. This is 5. Then you have short, long, short. So the 5 it's happening every time kind of differently. Actually, it's wrong musically to say it's a 5. It's just an easy way to explain. You have 5 pitches which are turning, which are looped on this grid.
So they're different every time, but were you saying that then you still hear them as, because of the melodic grouping, you hear a regularity that you weren't expecting to hear?
Because they are all the time the same pitches. For example, up is it's easier because they are 3. If you start like the G B F, if you sing it, you may kind of listen like ti ta ta 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 ti ta ta. So you listen kind of a
Maria, Maria, Maria.
Ta ta ti ta ta ti ta ta. Yeah, and that's it. Basically, that's simple. And then I just stretching the patterns, and when I stretch the pattern, actually, I just respect the grid. So when I say I stretch the 3 and I keep the 5, actually every note is not, I'm just like doubling, like playing the upper voice half the speed, but not like in the regular way. Basically here, the first notes it's like 2/16 and the second 4/16. So I want to have one note, two note, second note, third note. So I'm just halving the speed, but respecting the length that I was giving. So if the first two notes, they are like 5/16. The first note here will be, I was wrong, sorry. 1, 2, 4, the 6/16. The second would be 6/16, and so on. And then I just stretch the 3 and keep the 5, and then stretch the 5, keep the 3, and then I just stretch both.
Okay, well, can you play it, or have you put it in the computer or something, or?
No, this I didn't play, but I can play. I don't know if it makes sense, because this I never practiced. I just wrote. I can try slowly. Would be something like. Sorry, I have to move. It makes sense. Maybe I do.
Yeah, I can kind of follow it.
Like people. And so on. I mean, I would need to practice to play it, but that's the idea.
Great. Sounds awesome, Flavio. It's really cool. And great that you can just whip that off. You can almost already play it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just doing this kind of thing since a while. I'm working on this kind of approach to thing. And what I would like is also the idea, because as you write down, I think it's cool, but I would like to find strategies to improvise actually these kind of things. Because if you read, you are not. I mean, you don't care about the 3 or 5 or whatever. I'm used to read music, so I'm just reading through, and I just feel okay. It's a 7/16 bar, so I think about 7 more than all these things, and I would like to. For example, and then I stopped talking, sorry. This pattern I took, I'm doing lots with these kind of things. There's also 5 notes running on a kind of this 11 pattern, which becomes a 7. So ti ti tu ta ta tu ta tu ta ti ta ta ti ta 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 ti tu ta ti tu ti tu ti tu ti tu. If I mark the 1. So I can kind of make it turning whatever, like put a 1, whatever I like.
Yeah. That's really nice. It's really great to phase these different length cycles with each other. You know, a length of 11 notes over a pattern of 5, and I think you're right. I think once you practice it a bit, and you know, if you practice both cycles enough, you can put them together. It's not that hard, actually.
Nee, this is not enough. I did this with this example I was doing with this 5 against 3.
Flavio, just keep the guitar with you. You don't have to keep putting it away.
The 5 against 2, actually, I'm thinking like, it's my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ta ta ti ta ta ti ta ta ti, and I'm thinking it on a bit against 2 actually. The whole thing is against 2. Tin tin tan ti don tan tin tin tan ki don tan, because as soon as I think the bit in 2 against 2, I'm doing errors. So my 5 kind of like my polyrhythm against 2, I'm kind of, I can move more in between like a 4/4 thing. So my 3 will sound tak 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 tak. So I'm in 4. Ding ding dang ding dang tak 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 tak. Not again, not anymore 3. Or I can move it to a straight 7. Okay,
now you're going a little too fast. I'm not following it. And but you know what, Flavio? You know what I think would be great is if you could notate these. Why don't you write them down? You know, you have this one you notated, which is great, but maybe these ones that you have now with these African patterns. Let's look at a nice way to notate it, so that we can look at it and understand the system, and take it home and practice it. I mean, in my dream, we would all come together in Utrecht in July, and we would play this, or play some in some pieces that we write, and so because this is really interesting, and it's very much related to a lot of the Carnatic ways of looking at cycles and stuff. So is this an idea that you and I love the idea that we spend some time looking at the notations of these kinds of pieces, because there's it gives a lot of strength to the way you can present your art for other people.
Okay, I mean, I think this I think I'm sure I have I already, because this piece I played also with some of my groups. So this I have already written. I can show.
Great. Well, why don't, if you would like to share it with us, and if you have a video or recording of it, send me those links and I'll put it on our webpage, and then we can all check them out on our own time.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, awesome. And Per Anders, see you later. You know, I was thinking, Stacy, maybe you have some nice septuplet piece, or because you're also extremely prolific with creating new pieces with a lot of this material. Is there anything you'd like to share with us today? Or, of course you don't have to.
Oh, thanks for asking. I just started yesterday, so all I have is really rough sketches. But what I'm trying to do is do like septuplets over 4. So I'm trying to keep my left hand sort of like the metronome, and my right hand is doing different rhythms and septuplets. So that's all I have right now. And then I'm actually trying to match it up with BC's templates. So I'm trying to put it in Aditala and then end with the part B. So my question, I don't know if I can even articulate it right, but so if I have, my part A is 112 beats, and my part B is 80 beats, so I'm trying to match it up with Aditala. Do I end on, how do I end on some? Do I add one more beat for some, or does it, does the last 16th, is that some?
Shall we try to figure that out? I was also sitting down before this and trying to kind of work through the math, and I wasn't entirely to the end, so and I didn't get a chance to watch the whole video again from BC, so maybe we could kind of figure this out together. Like, for example, this is the question I already had. So here, let me just do this. I'm gonna share. Let's see here. Okay, so you guys can see this. So, like, for example, remember he said in the class 71, right? So you need to make a part A, which lasts 71. And then if we're looking at three talas, and one tala is
wasn't it a part B we were talking about being 71?
Was that what it was? I thought, yeah, could be. This is where we need to figure this out.
I thought the part A for now, we were just taking one of his templates and that's it. And then we have to make the rest up, making a part B.
Okay. So let me just look at this. So the part B, let me wait a second here. Okay. So the part B is supposed to be 71. Is that what you're saying?
That was an example. It was like, how about if the part B had to be 71, how would we do it? I think that was one of the questions.
How would you do the phrasing?
How would we make up the three?
That's right. And then he had the 21, 4, 21, 4, 21, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said that was very simple. So I was thinking maybe we could do 20, 4, 21, 4, and then 22. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, but let's come back to that, Yoka.
Okay.
Because that's the variation on the let's just get the main variation right. So if we have this 321 separated by 2 4s, that's 71. And if we have Aditala, which is 8 beats, right? Times 4, that's 32, right? 4 times 8 is 32. So if we take 3 talas, 3 bars, that's 96 matras or 16th notes, right?
Sorry, no, it was 3 aditalas. 3 aditalas
right.
makes 96. And I think that's what he asked us to do, although
exactly.
We could do something else.
Yeah, that I said 3. I don't know if maybe it got lost or something.
8 beats times 4, you wrote. Oh, I see what you mean. So 3 times. Oh, I get it. Sorry. Yeah.
3. Right. So if 8 beats, yeah, we have 4 16ths, right, per beat. So that gives us 32 per bar times 3 is 96. So okay, so we have 96 minus 71, which leaves 25 over, right? Am I looking at this the wrong way? Because this part A, where did we get to 25? So this is where I was.
I think that was just an example, the 71. I don't think that it was in connection with the part A.
Okay. All right.
So none of the part A's give us that particular option if we're looking at.
Okay. All right, David. Then you take it over from here.
Well, I was wondering if you guys can help me because I got a bit stuck with this. So when it comes, well, I guess what I need to first establish with the part B, is it right that the part B can either be just one set of 3 tadidiganatoms with or without gaps, or 3 chunks of 3 tadiginatoms with gaps between them?
Well, that's the one we learned was the tadiginato, 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 tadiginato. That was the phrase we practiced a lot on the IRC 1 last summer.
Yeah, so that phrase can constitute a whole part B.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
That's what I gathered from. But if we want a phrase that's longer than like the 32 or something that was the longest phrase, then we might have to combine three things like that. But not
I see what you're saying. So you're saying
you said you couldn't add 2 random chunks of 3 tadiginatoms, but you could have 3 chunks of tadiginatoms. Sorry, 3 chunks of 3 tadiginatoms, which are either the same length or like slightly different lengths, but moving in a sequential way.
Right.
Um,
So this was the phrase this is the one I just did, right? We all know this really well. 5551, 5551, 555, right?
Yeah.
And then the 71 is this 7774, 7774, 777. What does Stacy say? I'm thinking if we're in Aditala, to oversimplify, do we end on a note that is a multiple of 8? Or do we add an extra beat? For example, do we end on beat 96 or 9? No, you end on beat 97, which is then the downbeat.
Oh, good. Okay, because I would have had to restructure everything. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well, so you did a part B that is 80 beats, 26-1, 26-1, 26. Okay. Do you want to show us that or play it?
I can try to speak it. My conical is very terrible, but it's 2 groups of 10 plus 1 group of 6 with a gap. So it's takitatem tariginaton, takitatem tariginaton, tadim ginaton, takitatem tariginaton, takitatem tariginaton, tadim ginaton, takitat. Oh. Tadim ginaton, takitatem. I forgot my gap. Takitatem tariginaton, takitatem tariginaton, tadim ginaton.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's really clear.
Okay.
Takatadin tadiginaton, takatadin tadiginaton, tadin tatakadin, tadin takadin, takin tadiginaton, tadin tadigin, tadin. That's right. Tadin tadiginaton, tadin tadiginaton, tadin takadin, tadin tadiginaton, tadin tadin tadiginaton, tadin tadiginaton, tadin takatadim.
Yeah,
Ned,
that was different,
can I ask
but
a
it was
question?
cool.
Did I misunderstand that for part B, all 3 had to be the same? Can you alter like that? I thought I'm confused.
Well, if you have larger numbers, I think you have to break it up, right?
Yeah, you break it up, but I thought there had to be the same 3.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought that, but then also he had ones where it was 555, 666. Oh, sorry, 555.
Exactly, but it's 3 times the same thing.
Well, yeah, if you take Stacy's, so she has 26, 1, 26, 1, 26, right? So you could also do 25, 1, 26, 27.
Yeah, but the syllables are different in there. Stacy, what did you do exactly again? Sorry,
Oh, yeah, mine are all the same. It's a group of 10 plus a group of 6, and it's the same each time. So
then I heard it wrong. Would you mind doing it slowly one time? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Takitadim tariginaton, takitadim tariginaton, tadim ginaton, takitadim tariginaton, takitadim tariginaton, tadim ginaton.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The last group of the 3, you do tadim ginatom. Is that allowed? That's what I thought wasn't allowed.
Yeah, because within each section of 3, it's the same. Or within like say it's A gap, B gap, C gap.
Yeah.
A, B, and C are exactly the same. Like they all match each other.
Takitadim ginato, takitadim ginato, then you do tadim ginatom, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking. Is that allowed?
I think so, because like within the larger group, it's the same each time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one thing we talked about with the class is when you have a gap of 1, then this becomes an 8th note. Tadin takadim. And if you have a gap of 2, for example, tadim taketadim, then it would be an 8th note. It would be its own note. You would articulate the gap. So this is what he was saying, is that when you have one gap, you don't you play it as an 8th note, taking the last note of the rhythm.
Okay,
David?
I'll ask the question again. So this thing about gaps, there's 2 kinds of gaps, right? So there's on the sheet we've got these Corvée Part B templates. So each one is a set of 3 tadiginodons, and within that you can have gaps, 2 identical gaps, which if they're longer than one 16th note, then you do what you say. You put the tar, you put in a tar to make the gap.
Yeah.
But also you can combine 3 sets. So you can combine 3 of these templates to make a B. Am I right? And then you can also put gaps between those, and they're a different kind of gap. But does the same thing apply?
I'm not entirely sure if I follow.
Okay, can I go back to the beginning? So this is why I wrote it all out in the email, because I really don't.
Yeah.
I really want to get to the basics, because it's really confusing, because there's all these different layers of 3s. So we've got, if I call like so if I call that a tadiginodom, if that's like a unit, an individual unit, you can have 3 of those with or without 2 identical gaps to make a chunk, which can either be a part B on its own or a third of a part B.
Yeah, I think that's right. So they'll take
like units and then chunks and then like part B. You've got these 3 levels. So within the like between the units there's gaps, and then between the chunks there's also gaps. Am I right?
Yeah. So let's see if I share part. Okay. So you guys seeing this? Right?
Yeah.
So the 15, that's just tadiginoton, tadiginoton, tadiginoton. 3 times 5. And then we can do tadiginoton, 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 tadiginoton. So that's with the 1 gap. And our tadinginoton, 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 3 times 6, or 5, 2, 5, 2. So that's 5 plus 2 gap, tadinginoton, 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 and so forth. And then 6, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1. And then we get to this one. So we have tadinginoton, 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 tadinginoton. Oh, so these are 2 different ways. Sorry. Now this is 2 different ways to do 21. We have 1 way to do. So okay. Well, no. So these are just the different ways to do each of these numbers, but it's not talking about the version where the part B has like 3 times 15.
But he does at the bottom of the page. So that example, he's got 5, 5, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5 times 3. That makes a whole part B.
Oh yeah.
And the one just below it, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton ta, tadinginoton. Sorry, I didn't do it right. But
you're talking about this one?
That's another version of the same thing, of the same length of. That's a bit like 5, 3, 5, 3 plus times 3, but it's not. They're not all of the same length. They're slightly different lengths, but they make up the same total. But they still kind of feel like the same thing 3 times, just slightly different.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the principle. Either it's the same thing 3 times, or it's nearly the same thing 3 times in a way that's logical.
Well, yeah, it'll have that variation pattern where you'll take some notes from one and put it by the other one. So then you get that,
But
like 4, 5, 6 or something.
So this pattern here, this was when actually he asked us to throw a number and I said 63. So this basically was just demonstrating 63 with this 3 lines.
This was the 63 one?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all 63 ones, all the way down up to where he writes 71.
Okay, so these are all 60.
All of them are different versions of 63. So then they're definitely not all the same, having the same length of each chunk. Is not necessarily the same length, but there is a logical progression within each one.
Yeah, I think, David, the bigger phrases will have 3 big phrases, and each of those phrases will have also 3 phrases in it. And so there are these kind of fractal combinations of 3 phrases, you know, on multiple levels. I think they're doing that all the time. I'm just not the right person to explain exactly how that works. So we will have to ask BC.
Well,
Unfortunately, he couldn't come today. He
okay.
already had some other teaching, but we'll get to the bottom of this with him. But I think what he's doing is he's giving us the first step, and then we're gonna build this further.
Well, it's just because I came up against a problem, and one of you might be able to tell me how to do it, because I wanted to do the Aditala, like he said, 3 cycles with a 96.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, I'll choose the version of the part A template, which is 44. So I chose the 3rd one. That happens to be 44, which leaves 52 for the part B.
Okay.
And I can't find a way of doing 52. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible. If someone can show me a way where it's possible. Because if I did, for example, if I did 3 times, you know, if I wanted to do three sets of 3 Tadiginatoms with gaps to make up the 52, that's not possible, because the nearest multiple of 3 is 48, which divided by 3 is 16, and 16 is not an option.
Yeah, so you could do 16 to 16. Oh wait, are you seeing this? Yeah, 16 to 16 to 16, right?
Yeah, in theory, but 16 is not an option, because 16 doesn't divide into 5, 5, 5. So 5, 5, 5 makes 15, and then you end up with half a beat gap, 2 half a beat gaps. So that's not an option.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but I think that the 16th you can do with that whatever you want. It doesn't have to only be 3 equal. It doesn't have to be a multiple, you know, divisible by 3. So, like, for example, like, what about 7 plus 9? Oops, yeah.
Oh, so you mean you do
like, for example, that kind of phrase.
But all the ones that he's given us are 3 Tadiginatoms.
Where do you see that?
So on the Mukhtar/Corvée Part B templates, every template has a set of 3 Tadiginatoms.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. And then, well, but they are not, oh, is that me? Oh, they're not groups of 5. They're Tadiginatons. And he's using the Tadiginaton syllables to do 5, 6, 7,
that's
8.
what I mean. I was just saying as a shorthand.
Oh,
so
okay.
Those 5, we've got 5 sets of those. So each one has all of those syllables 3 times in every one of those Corvée patterns. So there's no way of making 16. Otherwise, he would have put a 16 on the list.
Sorry, can I ask a question? I have a question. May I?
Yeah. Just wait 1 second before we get to that, Flavio. What are you thinking, Stacy?
Oh, I mean, I obviously am not an expert, but I was going with your 7 plus 9 idea, and why could you not like add like number 24, ta dim gi na to ta, and then go straight to I can't remember what I said, 21. Oh, other order. So ta dim gi na tum ta dim gi na to ta, and then gap of 2, and repeat that.
Ta di gi na ton ta di gi na ton. Ta ta, yeah. Ta di gi na ton ta di gi na ton. Ta di gi na ton ta di gi na ton. Ta di gi na ton ta di gi na ton. Ta, like that. Yeah. Well, I would think so, but David, you don't think that? Yeah, you think with the 5 notes you can't get the 16 out.
I'm not sure I follow now. I think you're probably. It sounded like it made sense.
Well, we found a solution. I don't know if it's traditional Carnatic approach, but
so are we saying we're not having 3 chunks of 3 tadiginadoms? We're just having 3 long tadiginadoms.
No, you're having 3 chunks, and then you make what you make whatever phrase you can get to fit on there. But
yeah, I just don't. I don't know.
Flavio,
Yes, my question is basically I'm really new with it, so I was also pretty much confused, and I had the same problem I think as David. For example, if I want to have a B part, which is 52, so let's say may I use the template? Like for example, could I take 24 and 27 and put them together from the B parts that we got from BC? Or I need to make one thing that makes sense from itself?
No, you have to do it 3 times. That's the golden rule of Indian music. It's always 3 times.
I
cannot take 2 things.
I cannot.
Of course you can. You can do whatever you want, but they would not do it. The only time that I don't see them do 3 times is when they do a systematic 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This Tirmana thing where it goes through a rhythmical pattern. All the other things are 3 times.
And the things, okay, so let's say that I take it 3 times. So I could end up with a 5, 7, 5, 3 times. It would be 51. And then I still have 1 break to put somewhere. Does it make sense? If, for example, if I start with a break and then I do 5, 7, 5, 5, 7, 5, 5, 7, 5, would it be possible? Or
well, I think that's what you would do. Instead of trying to take one matra, one note, and divide it into 2 gaps of a half, right? That's what Nina proposed last time, and then you get this 30-second note displacement, which is almost impossible to do correctly. You would put the gap at the beginning and start the phrase a 16th note later.
And then I have 5, 5, 7, 5, 5, 7, 5, whatever it is, but I have 3 times the same thing then.
Yeah.
So this could work. This could be a solution.
Yeah, I believe so. I think what you guys should do is make your solutions, make your options, and then let's present them for BC, and see what he says. Because he's the real one to qualify to talk about this part of the theory. So, but what I kind of want to see, because I got a little bit spaced out at the end of last class, and so I'm trying to figure out if we can make one of these assignments proper, if we can make a proper form for one of them, just to have an idea of how it works. And so if we have this, if we come back to the 71, right? And then which we did, what was it? My notes.
21-4, 21-4.
Yes, thanks. 21-4, 21-4, 21-4. Okay. And so this is the part B, right? So this is the B part. And did he ask you guys to make the A part too?
I don't think so.
We didn't even get to that.
No, I think it was just an example, the 71. Also, there's too many 4s there.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then we're not going to get to that part. For right now, we're just finding ways to break up numbers into 3 phrases with a gap. That's the exercise for now, right? George or Francesca, you guys, are you following all this? You have some input on it, or is it still?
No. I'm flowing and I'm working on this 316. How can we divide to fit into the 3 times stadiginatum or this kind of stuff? And doing some calculating just to try.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm quite happy to know that I'm not the only one that was a bit confused.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that we're in the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish I also knew exactly what was going on, but I also don't know. Sometimes I've sat down and I've tried to compose music with these kinds of 3 times phrases, and then I run into this problem of the gap and the way to use these numbers properly. And I think there's all kinds of tricks and secrets, solutions which they do, but we don't have all the rules. We don't know them all yet, and how the way they're used in practice. But I'm wondering, you know what we could do?
Sorry.
Oh, please, Francesco.
Just a simple way, I think, if we would like to keep the shape 16, 2 gaps, 16, 2 gaps, 16,
Mm-hmm.
you can just cut off 1/16 from the first, and then this is 15, and put it on the last. This is 17.
Yeah.
So we have 15, 17, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
And then we can do 3/5, so tadiginadum, 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 and then 2/5 and a 6, tadiginadum, 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 and then 2/5 and a 7, tadiginadum, tadiginadum, tadiginadum. Which I think should have sense also in the melodic shape.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That I think someone had a question similar to that in the class, and I think BC said no, they have to be the same or something. So but I'm not entirely sure about that rule. So okay, what we know is there's a lot that we don't know, and we just need to clear this up with BC. And we will do that. What I was going to suggest for now is, why don't we practice these Part B templates, the ones that he wrote?
Yeah, right.
And at least we can perform them and get an idea about how they live in our bodies and our minds. So let's see here. Let's see here. I'm going to stop this. Okay, so why don't we do this? I'm going to put this in Aditala, and then we're going to do each one of them, let's say 3 times. And what we're going to do is we're just going to count it off before the starting point. So for the first one, it lasts 15. So I'm going to do 17 matras at the beginning, and then we're going to do it. So that's, taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, taka jano, tadiginato, 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 taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, taka jano, tadiginato, 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 taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, tadiginato, tadiginato, right? So that's the easy one. Now 17, so that's going to start 1/16 before the second half of the Aditala. So taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, taka tadiginaton, 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 taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, takita tadiginaton, 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 taka dimi, taka jano, taka dimi, takita tadiginaton, 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 ta. Capiche? Everyone got that? Does this sound like a good exercise? And we just kind of go through all these and do them in Aditala?
Sorry, so Takadimi Takajana, that's just a sort of build-up sort of thing.
It's when you have 8, you can do Takadimi Takajano. We can also do 4 Takadimi. You can do Takadimi Takadimi. It's just it's a common way that they count to 8. Okay. Takadimi Takajano and then for the first 4 beats, right? Okay. So let's start again from the top, and then why don't you guys sing along with me? Or unless someone else wants to do this, I'm happy to let someone else lead this exercise. Because guaranteed I'm going to mess it up someplace. But all right, well, I will. When someone wants to do it, just chime in. But I'll do it for now. So, rule number 1, the way I like to always start exercises is with 3/4. Whatever the meter is, 3/4. Takadimi takajano, takadimi takajano, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi takajano, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi takajano, tadiginaton, 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 ta. Okay, so now for the 17, I'm going to count takadimi takajano, takadimi, and then takita. So a group of 3, and then I'm going to start the phrase. So I have 17 left over. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Adam, you get that? Okay. Your look was like, Okay, here comes. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano, takadimi takita, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi takita, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi takita, tadiginaton, 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 ta. Yeah? Okay, let's go on. 18. Tadiginaton, 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 tin. Okay, so that's 18. So I'll do takadimi takajano, takadimi taka. And then start the phrase. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano, takadimi taka, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi taka, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi takajano, takadimi taka, tadiginaton, 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 ta. Everyone got that? All right, let's move on. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Okay, so 19. I will do takadimi takajano tadiginaton. And then I will start. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Should we do that again? I'd like to do that again. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, takadimi takajano tadiginaton, tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Tadiginaton, ta. Okay. 20. Tadiginaton, 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 ta. Okay, so then we'll do takadimi, takajano, takadimi. And then start this one. 3, 4. Takadimi, takajano, takadimi, tadiginaton, 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 takadimi, takajano, takadimi, tadiginaton, tadiginaton, tadi kinaton takadimi takajano takadimi tadi kinaton tadi kinaton tadi kinaton ta. Yeah? Keep going. One more time, that one? Okay, let's do that one more time. 3, 4. Takadimi, takajana, takadimi. Tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, takadimi, takajana, takadimi. Tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, takadimi, takajana, takadimi. Tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, tadi kinaton, ta. Okay, 21. Tadi kinaton. Okay, easy. So I'm going to do takadimi, takajanu, takita. 3, 4. Takadimi, takajanu, takita. Ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, takadimi, takajanu, takita. Ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, takadimi, takajanu, takita. Ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, ta, di, ginaton, ta. Nice. That's a nice one. Tati ginaton ta. Tati ginaton ta. Tati. Okay, 22. 62626. Takadimi takajano taka. That's what I will do. 3, 4. Takadimi takaj. Sorry. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Okay, I'm going to do that one again. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano taka. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Okay, 23. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton. Okay, this one should be relatively easy. So takadimi takajano ta, and then we start. 3, 4. Takadimi takajano. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton takadimi takajano. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. One more time. 3, 4. 1, 2. Tadi ginaton ta. 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 Cool. So now it's like, it's easy to, I don't know. I don't feel like counting at the beginning. I just know it starts on the 2nd 16th of the 3rd beat. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta. And then it's much easier, more musical. Let's keep going. That was 23, right? Yeah. Oh, then we have another 23. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta. Okay, same thing. Same starting point. 3, 4. 1, 2. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta. Yeah? Should we do that one again? All right, let's do that again. Even I felt it not entirely in the pocket. 3, 4. 1, 2. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta di ginaton. Ta. Ta ti ki na ton ta ti ki na ton ta ti ki na ton ta ta ti ki na ton ta ti ki na ton ta ti ki na ton ta. Yeah, it's hard to make that one groove really well. Has a tendency to rush in some way. Anyway, let's go on. 24. Ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton. Okay, so that's 3 times 8. So we leave 2 beats off and start. 3, 4, 1, 2. Ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton dim. Ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton ta. Ta di ki na ton ta di ki na ton ta di ki. Get it, daka daka dim. Oh, Jesus! I just threw my iPad on the ground. I think it survived. Okay. Let's keep going, huh? Let's at least get to see how far we can get. Oh, and then we have the tati ginaton tak, tadi ginaton tak, tadi ginaton. Okay, 63636. This is going to be a nice one. So I'll leave 2 beats off and then start that. So 3, 4, 1, 2. Tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta. Tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta. For me, it's easier to think of where the beat starts than to count the 3. Tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta. Then it's easier to make it flow over the beat nicer. Okay, let's go on. 25. Tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta, tadi ginaton ta. So that would be, we leave 7 off and then start. So takatimi takat tadiki naton ta tadiki naton ta tadiki naton ta. So now comes this question is, how do you count a gap of 5? So I would count that as 2 eighth notes in the 16th. Tadiki naton di di tadiki naton di tadiki naton di. So you always break down your longer gaps into 2s and 1s. So 3 is a 2 plus 1. And 5 is because if you try to go if you just try to feel it as a whole, you will always get it wrong. So you have to break it down into smaller units. And for me, it always works either a 2 or a 1. So let's do this again. We leave 7 off and then do it. So 3, 4. Takatimi takat tadiki nato di 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 tadiki nato. That's wrong time. Tadiki nato tadiki nato tadiki nato di 1, 2 tadiki nato di tadiki nato di tadiki nato di. So then it's much easier to think. First it starts before the beat, then after the beat, and then before the beat. So tadiki nato di tadiki nato di tadiki nato di. That's the shorthand I do it. 3, 4, 1. Tadiki nato di 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 tadiki nato di. You get it? So instead of thinking of what exactly the gaps are, I like to make a shorthand. Oh, first it starts before the beat, after the beat, before the beat, lands on the one. And this tadiginaton dim, that's a really common ending, which always starts 1/16th note before the last beat. Tadiginaton dim. So we keep coming to that all the time. Should we do the 7-2-7-2-7? Ta di ginato ta ta di ginato ta ta di ginato. And then same thing, we leave off 7. So 3, 4, 1, 2. Ta di ginato. Sorry. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. Ta di ginato ta ta di ginato ta ta di ginato ta. Ta di ginaton dim, ta di ginaton dim, ta di ginaton dim. Ta di ginaton dim, ta di ginaton dim, ta di ginaton dim. Yeah? Okay. 26. 8-1-8-1-8. So how do we do the 8 plus 1? Ta di ginaton. I guess it's tadiki naton, tadiki naton, tadiki naton ta. So it's like 9, 9, 8. And the 9 is tadiki. That's this one, right? Yeah. Tadiki. No, wait. No, wait.
It'd be all open, no?
It's all open, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the ta di gi na. So it's a different way. It's because you go ta di gi na ton, ta di gi na ton, ta di gi. So it's like this. Flip it backwards. Okay. Let's try that. So we leave 6 mantras off. Taka de mi taka ta di gi na ton ta. Yeah. Taka dimi taka tadiki na ton tadiki na ton tadiki na ton ta. Tadiki na ton tadiki na ton tadiki na ton ta. Tadiki na ton tadiki na ton tadiki na ton ta. Once you do it once, it gets really easy. Like, oh, it's that. Just leave a beat and a half off and then do the pattern. Okay, let's do this. The 26 with a 6-4-6-4-6. Tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta. Right. So again, beat 1.5 beats off, and then start it. 3, 4, 1. Tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta. Tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi kinatonta, tadi takatakatakash. Kitatakata, kitatakadika, kitataka, kinikitadan, kitatakata, kitatikatarakiji, kitatikatakadim, kitatikatakadim. Well, whatever. Okay. Let's we'll stop with this for now. You guys can continue this on your own. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Flavio, I will put your music on the website if it's okay with you, and then people can have a look and learn to play it if they like. Stacy, if you have any videos, I will happily post them. Same for all you guys, David, George, Yoka, Adam, because it's so awesome to see everybody's work. And if there's,
I do have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, please, David.
Again, it might be a question for BC, but he's given us all these things up to 32, but maybe it can go further. Maybe there's longer templates.
Well, that's exactly the question we have, right?
Because then maybe that will solve our problems. Because when he gets to like units of 10, we've got takadi, you know, takadinatim, tatiginato, tatidinatim, tatiginato. We can stretch those out as well and make a longer unit.
Yeah. You mean takadin tadiginato?
Yeah.
No, that's 9. Taketadin tadiginaton taketadin tadiginaton taketadin tadiginaton ta. Yeah. And then taketadin tadiginaton taketadin tadi, like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. That makes a lot of sense. So after you've exhausted all your expansion possibilities with 1 5, well, take 2 5s and then expand those until you get to 20. I guess. Let's keep that question and we'll pick his brain about it on Tuesday. And was it what are you guys feeling at this point? Do you want more analysis of pieces? I mean, I have another piece I could show you and tear apart like I did with Stone Soup. Or maybe we just spend the next class working on these patterns with BC. I don't know. I'm curious what you think.
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. Both those things sound great to me.
Okay. Anybody else? George, what do you have a hankering for?
Both sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm still the last exercise has really helped me, definitely. And I think with a bit of clarification and me going back to review the last session, I think with a bit more clarification from BC, I think we'll be on the same page.
Yeah.
And then we can continue from there.
Yeah, we need to definitely clear this up. And then we need to start making stuff with it. So I will talk to that him too. So we'll talk to BC about that. Yeah, thanks. Glad you guys liked Stone Soup. Yeah. Nice. Cool. That was fun. And fun for me to go back and bring it alive again. Well, we have this duo that BC and I played last year, Benson Town, which is in 7/4. And I was thinking that we would tear apart that and show you how the form works and how the phrases work. So, and maybe it's a nice balance, because if we spend 3 hours doing math stuff like this, it'll probably turn us all into vegetables. So maybe we'll do that. I will present the music next week. Maybe we'll do a little bit more rhythms. Maybe we'll bring back the tuplets and groupings, do a little warm up on that. Anyway, I was telling BC it's nice if we can pull in the materials of the IRC1, you know, that like these ending phrases, tadim, 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 you know, we could somehow incorporate that into the new theory that we're working on, because it's all being combined all the time. So, okay. This is good. So thanks for that. Yeah, thanks, Adam. These little feedback moments are really great because it helps me. I mean, like I said, we're just kind of making it up, and we have a 1,000 possibilities. But I really believe it's great to work with you guys on what's the best thing, because as opposed to like trying to teach some general proper class, it's more interesting to look at where you guys are and what are the things that you're interested in, and then, you know, try to feed that with the Carnatic theory and approach of BC. Okay, awesome. So we'll call it. Any other comments?
I have a question, but just a curiosity.
Please.
About your piece, Stone Soup.
Mm-hmm.
You would, I mean, this is something I have in my mind. Do you think that the way, if you would write it again, like if you would notate it again, you would keep it notated as you did, or would you? I mean, a better formulation. Do you think the way like our notation is, it's kind of clear enough to explain this for example, what you did? Because just an example, all this kind of rhythm stretching. If I mean, you can read it like as a classical musician, and you can just read it, but not without understanding what you're doing. And as soon as you understand it, then you can just you can really feel it, and then the music will groove another way if you just know what you are doing. So that's my question. Do you think the notation is appropriate, or there are you are going to think about other way to notate like this kind of thing?
Well, in that you're in exactly that spot where it's dun ding ding ding, the quarter note, the 4 times version. I also think, and I can't remember if I tried it back then, but I also think it doesn't reflect what the hell's going on in the rest of the piece. And I think if you had the framework of the piece somehow notated in the way that I wrote those notes, I think it would have been much easier to play. What I remember is that we kind of made some cues in the parts. Oh, the beat is here 1/16th note later or earlier, so we could kind of have a few signposts to line it up properly. But there were some parts that were not, still kind of approximate. So in that one spot, I agree with you. I think it could be notated better.
It's just, I mean, it doesn't have to be notated better. It's just for me the question that sometimes, it's just like how jazz musicians notate sometimes their stuff, because if we are used as classical musicians to read without understanding. I mean, if I'm reading some Bach, of course, a fugue, I don't really need to. I mean, I can analyze it, but I need to play it. And I think certain music which deals with rhythm, sometimes if you really feel it and you know what you're doing, you are more able also to groove it.
Absolutely. And I obsess about my notations. I'm always notating things 3 or 4 different ways and looking at what the effect of that is and what does it communicate to the player, and also trying to really think about who's the player that I'm writing for. And if it's a jazz musician, sometimes I will notate it differently than for a classical musician. But in general, I totally agree with you. If you can get more of the groove or the framework of how the rhythm works into the notation of each line, it gives you a greater chance of success and groove. So, yeah. So even with that piece, I spent a long time thinking about how to notate it. But those couple bars, I'm also not happy with it. Looking back,
I find sometimes when you do that though, and you put that detail of what the background is of the rhythm, then people just complain. They're just like, oh, it's just quarter notes. Can't I just play?
Oh yeah, well,
they just like, they don't get that you want them to, like, you can't tell people how they should feel it or interpret very easily. I find like it feels like you're kind of telling them that their way of doing it is wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, people will always complain, but maybe what you could do is write it as quarter notes, and then as a cue line on top, put the frame. There should be some ways to incorporate both methods, because musically it sounds just like quarter notes. So that is the musical essence, and it's nice to reflect that in the notation. But if you know that your 1/4 note is da ding, right after the beat, you could put a cue in there, so you have a little bit the best of both worlds. If as long as it's, I don't know. I do sometimes take weeks doing those kinds of extra levels of information just to make it clear, because there's usually such little rehearsal time. But But yeah, you can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. All right, guys. Awesome to see you. I hope this has been productive. You see a little bit about the way these other sessions work. It's a little bit free, a little bit chaotic, and maybe a little bit, a little bit too much talking, but at least there's more chance for you guys to talk and show your things and bring the ideas in. Just one other thing about that, and maybe we talk about this on Tuesday. Thank you, Yoka. I think this Friday time is bad for BC, so we might look at a different time to do the next coaching session. We'll bring that up in class. So we're a little bit creating this on the spot together, so that makes it easier for everybody. Okay, see you guys on Tuesday. Great to see you.
Thanks. Bye.